If church leaders are listening, do not weaponize the whole forgiveness thing, because churches want to run to forgiveness and they're like, "Oh my goodness." And it's this new age idea of forgiveness, that forgiveness is all about the victim and not the person that you're forgiving, which I come back and I'm like, "Then what's the point?" Uh, like Jesus wasn't in a corner, meditating saying, "I'm going to forgive all these people for my inner healing." Like he forgives us for us. The
Right.
forgiveness is precisely for the person who screwed up, not for your own inner healing. But whatever, that's another debate for another day. But a lot of people weaponize that against the victims. And the first question they'll ask is not, "Are you okay?" Not, "How are you doing?" Not, "How are you coping in life?" "How can I help you?" The first question they ask the victim inevitably is, "Have you forgiven your abuser?" And if the answer is no, my goodness, they better get some armor out, because they're going to be getting fired upon. The spiritual battle and the things like, they'll tell victims things like, "Well, until you forgive your abuser, you know that God doesn't forgive you." And I come back with that. A couple things. One, again, it's a theological discussion for another day, but forgiveness in the Bible is conditional. It's conditioned
Yes.
upon repentance. All right.
Yes.
Number two, victims don't need forgiveness to forgive somebody who's a deadbeat who absolutely wrecked their lives. They don't need to forgive them for healing. What they need is justice, right?
Yes.
They want to know, I'm protected, somebody believes me, and the law is doing something about it to protect me and other victims from this person who's a threat to society. They want justice.
Absolutely. And there are some that are even prescient enough to understand that that justice needs to happen quickly so that it doesn't happen to others. Because it doesn't happen to all the victims, because sometimes they're just so wrapped up in what they're thinking that that's their whole world. They can't see beyond it. But there
Yes.
are some who also recognize that uh, this needs to be stopped for others, to keep others from being victimized by this person in the future.
Johnny Bardo is a case in point. The doctor from Cambria County.
Yeah.
I know his family members. His family members were coming into my office when that all first started getting uncovered. You know what they didn't say? They weren't like, "Pastor, can you teach me how to forgive my dad?" They were like, "How do we help put him away so that he doesn't harm more innocent people?" Victims and victims' families are seeking justice.
Right.
They need that. They absolutely need to believe that they need to have somebody who believes them, and they're looking for justice. And they deserve it, quite frankly.